Larry King said that learning begins with listening.
All right, our question this week is marriage between one man and one woman? And our theme text is found in Colossians chapter 3, verse 2. Set your mind on the things above, not on the things that are on earth.
So in some ways, Jonathan, this week is definitely a follow-up of last week. And when we look at it in many ways, it can be said that we live in times of great advancement. Medicine, technology, education, these are a few of the areas, eye-popping areas of leaps and bounds forward. Yet it can also be said that we live in times of great distress. Social unrest, political polarity, and moral decay, these are a few areas of eye-popping slides downward. This morning, we're going to discuss the concept of gay marriage. And the primary question is, on which side of this ledger does it belong? Is it advancement or is it decay? Obviously, we'll talk from a biblical approach. So folks, stay with us this morning as we open up this Pandora's box and discuss the vital question, is marriage between one man and one woman? And Jonathan, that is our question.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
For the whole morning, that's it. Is marriage between one man and one woman? And as we get started here, I think one of the important things to put in place before we give an opinion and get everything going is the approach that we want to take here. Obviously, is a biblical approach. Mm-hmm. But we really want to stress we want to take a very civil approach. And this is a subject of very, very, very strong opinions on both sides of the issue.
And emotions.
A lot of emotion behind those opinions. And it's a difficult issue because of those things. So what we want to do is what we always attempt to do, to be able to discuss things in an orderly fashion. And folks, we ask it if you are emotional about it and you want to call in, you certainly are welcome to do that at 860-442-9956, 442-WXLM. However, let's make sure that we approach it with our best sense about us. That being said, let's give our opinion, okay? Is marriage between one man and one woman? Our opinion is yes.
Yes.
Okay, marriage, we believe, is designed to be unequivocally between one man and one woman. We should seek no exceptions, no caveats, no special treatments, no situational alterations, as we believe that the Bible emphatically teaches this. Now, the question is, how do we know that this is the biblical teaching? And what about other interpretations of biblical teaching? Because just because we believe the Bible teaches it isn't your surety that, oh, well, Jonathan Rick said it, so it must be true. Now, look, we say things that we believe are true, and we'd like to think that's true, but you know what? We're imperfect like the rest of you. What we want to do, Jonathan, as a base for this, and folks, just to give you a sense of where we're coming from here, there was a cover story from Newsweek back in December 15th issue of Newsweek, December 2008, December 15, and the cover story is the religious case for gay marriage by Lisa Miller. This article essentially said that the Bible actually does not condemn such a thing, but rather condones it. And for somebody coming from our perspective, needless to say, that would be surprising. So what we're going to do is going to be referring back to that article as we go through our program and use it as sort of as a jumping off point for getting into different parts of this discussion. So we're going to have to build some momentum here as we get started. So if you do have a call, if you can refrain at least for the first segment here so we can lay some groundwork. So we're referencing that article, and that article, again, argues that the Bible is not at all against gay marriage, but rather for it. Now, there's a short paragraph, Jonathan, we're going to drop in, not right from the beginning of the article, because it's just way too long to read entirely on the program here. But this paragraph sort of sums up some of the conclusions. Go ahead.
All right, from Newsweek. While the Bible and Jesus say many important things about love and family, neither explicitly defines marriage as between one man and one woman. As the example above illustrate, no sensible modern person wants marriage, their own or anyone else's, to look in its particulars anything like what the Bible describes.
That's early on in the article, within the first few paragraphs, and I will admit that, here I am telling you all to be calm and be cool. I pretty much hit the roof when I read that. I said, what are you talking about? And I could feel my blood pressure going up and all of that stuff. So the first point is what this author is saying, well, and she's using, I will tell you that the context of this is some of the instances of polygamy in the Old Testament, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But she's saying, you look at these things, and no person in their right mind wants their marriage or anybody's marriage to look like what the Bible describes as marriage. And I'm thinking, ma'am, you have no idea then what the Bible describes. So let's do that. And this is a little bit of a recap from last week, but it's important groundwork. So let's start where anybody who's using the Bible as a textbook would start in terms of marriage. Let's start at the beginning.
Genesis 2:20 through 24. The man gave names to all the cattle and to the birds of the air and to every animal of the field. But for the man there was not found a helper as his partner. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon man, and he slept. Then he took one of his ribs and closed its place with flesh. And the rib that the Lord God had taken from the man he made into woman, and brought her to the man. Then the man said, This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. This one shall be called woman, for out of man this one was taken. Therefore a man leaves his father and his mother and clings to his wife, and they become one flesh.